The streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul.
Nightmares creep while you and me repeat. This bittersweet heat is suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire. suffocating. I'm waiting and always hesitating. Kryptonite desires set my heart afire. Heart on fire. Set my heart afire.
The workout app tracks all my workouts. It knows how many laps I've done, how many calories I've burned. It knows how far I've gone, even in open water.
Healthy dish cooked with steam.
Like a Bosch.
Veggie time, it's a dream.
Like a Bosch.
Mix and mash, vacuum food.
Like a Bosch.
Make it last, perfect move.
Like a Bosch.
Perfect fry, fish or meat.
Like a Bosch.
Nice and tasty, all neat.
Like a Bosch.
Live well, like a Bosch. With many solutions that can lead to a better way of living. From Bosch.
jack it up.
feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can
The workout app tracks all my workouts. It knows how many laps I've done, how many calories I've burned. It knows how far I've gone, even in open water.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, the gravity pulls you straight down.
Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game. Take me out when I'm down. 'Cause with you I'm safe and sound. I'm safe and sound.
paying that, buddy?
I think I've messed up payroll.
We've automated their payroll and even calculated their pension contributions. See?
Thanks, teeny tiny hard-nosed QuickBooks people.
Now get out there and show him his boss!
I am the boss.
Come on, Kev.
I am the boss!
Oh, Kev.
Into it, QuickBooks!
Here we go.
One.
Hold. Nearly there. Come on. Come on, arms.
Fine work.
3, 2, 1.
You made it.
Ring Fit Adventure, only on Nintendo Switch.
Okay, thank you everyone for taking the time to join me to go through our presentation. Here are the legal disclaimers, which I think you should take some time to look through, so there's some important factors in there for you. So a little bit about us, eTherapeutics. We have a computational biology platform at our core. We're an AIM-listed company based in Oxford. we have recently announced an addition drug modality called RNAi, and in this presentation I'll go through some of the commercial collaborations we've got with some top-tier pharma companies. So in essence, what do? We construct in silico or computational models of any biological function. So when we look at a particular biology or a function that we're interested in, it can be anything, let's say hyperinflammation in SARS-CoV-2. We then go on to analyze those models to look for novel targets or biological mechanisms. From there, we can then design novel small molecule drugs. And as I said earlier, I'll be going through the RNA platform as a drug modality as well. So you could think of our capability as having an in silico or computational laboratory. So here's a slide giving a lot of different examples of what these models look like. And you can see there's a lot of sort of diversity in terms of SARS-CoV-2, or you can look at things like neuronal autophagy or endocytosis. As I said, almost any biological function. And the models, as you can see, we've generated, over our history, millions of these types of models. They're, in essence, genes or proteins which, if you can think of them as collaborating with each other, talking to each other in a kind of network. And you can see the variety of different networks we have. So this kind of network formation, if you can think of it, let's say, within a cell and a biological process of, let's say, as we said, let's say SARS-CoV-2 hyperinflammation, gives that function its resilience and all the things that it needs in order to be able to sort of function. And our modeling is, we think, the truest and fairest sort of representation of biology. Okay, so how are these models generated? Where do these proteins or genes come from? And how do we go about doing this? So as I said earlier, we have a computational platform. You can think about it maybe as sort of 4 or 5 databases or very large data sets or functions. As a starting point, we have the largest and most accurate what's called protein-to-protein, human protein-to-protein interaction database. That kind of is the starting point for us to be able to stitch these proteins together to create the models that we want. The second component of that is we use very modern AI techniques called natural language processing. So we can, if you like, import and extract and save and be able to sort of analyze any kind of paper that's been written, any biological experiment that's been done. So we bring them into our sort of databases and we analyze them. And the kind of third and sort of fourth component are we have also the largest small molecule compound database that we know of. So something in the region of 17 to 18 million small molecule compounds. We have all the approved small molecule drugs, and then a variety of different, in the millions of different compounds. So when you think of the kind of totality of the databases and data sets that we have, there are going to be certain aspects of it which are kind of the data is excellent. So for example, in the approved small molecule compound database, they're obviously very well annotated and known. Some of the compounds are very poorly annotated. And the same applies to the protein-to-protein interaction databases. So kind of feeding into that is where our proprietary machine learning algorithms come in. So, there what we're trying to do is fill in the gaps with predictive machine learning algorithms and artificial intelligence so that, where there is data which is not as good as some of the other parts of the data, we can basically create models that, again, give that sort of true and fair reflection. Okay, so in terms of outputs, again, imagine now we're still in silico or within a computer. The networks, as I said, we can generate, novel mechanisms from that. We can get genetic insights. So we can take genetic data as an input. So think about, these large population studies called genome-wide association studies, looking into very complex diseases like Alzheimer's. Typically the output from those studies are maybe 100, 200 genes, which all have a small influence, if you like, on the totality of the disease. But obviously you can't do anything with 200 genes in terms of actionable outcomes. We can take that information, create our network models of them, and from there we can look at creating drug targets. So in the next slide, and I'll be going through our sort of, if you like, our compounds, which we can derive from our network. So here it's almost like a sort of computer game, if you want to think about it that way. So, we go parallel with the model. So imagine on the left-hand side, we're looking at a model of, again, SARS-CoV-2 hyperinflammation. On the right-hand side, we have our compound database, and we attack the model with every single one of these millions of compounds that we've got. The idea being we want to find the compounds, the highest ranking compounds, which affect the network the most. So typically the output from that is out of the tens of millions that are in the database, we get a very sort of curated list, something maybe like 500 compounds ranked by their sort of activity. Okay, so I guess this slide is really kind of the scoring system in some ways of that computer game or our compounds. On the left-hand side is projects that we've embarked on in-house. So these have been projects which are not just in silico, but we've taken them all the way to in animal models or kind of IND filings. Again, very diverse biological areas. We have 3 partnerships: type 2 diabetes with Novo Nordisk, CNS with MSD, fibrosis with Galapagos. So kind of what you're seeing on the right-hand side, as I said, is the kind of scoring system. So one step back, a traditional kind of small molecule approach would be you set up an assay which says, okay, this is my model for fibrosis. And a typical large pharmaceutical company can really sometimes throw 500,000 small molecule compounds. They literally make them and hit this assay. This is in a real lab setting, and they'll try and see out of those 500,000 how many hits there are. Hits being defined by a compound which has activity against fibrosis. And this is as you can imagine, torturous, long, and expensive kind of process. And the hit rates are desperately poor. Can be as low as 0 or 0.1% of those 500,000 compounds can be active. Then, once you've even got a hit, that's a kind of what's called a blind screening process. So you have no biology knowledge of why this compound is affecting, let's say, fibrosis in these assays. So even with a hit, you have to go back and kind of work out, what's going on, what's the target, what's the mechanism. So from our sort of process, remember, we're coming at it in a kind of biologically aware and relevant way. So we're starting with something we're interested in, then we model it, then we find compounds in silico in a computer, which are a very small number of compounds, so typically 500 to 1,000 compounds, much, much smaller, kind of very curated and precise number of compounds. And our hit rates are, orders of 100 to 1,000 times magnitude to kind of industry standards. So, we do the modeling in silico, we create very, very small number of compounds which are biologically relevant, and that's a materially different process than what goes on traditionally. Okay, so a little bit about our RNAi announcement as to why we have added this, what's our advantage here. I guess this first starting point is RNA platforms are very much sought after, and we'll go through a few slides to show why. And the second component was that we felt that our informatics and our computational platform would be particularly useful in RNA drugs, and I'll go through some of the reasons why that would be. But at its core, we have an in-depth knowledge of the field of RNAi. So really, what would have taken potentially years to develop has taken months because of the kind of knowledge we have. I have to admit, actually, the lockdowns and the ability to be able to really focus on things has really sort of helped that process. And we felt that putting that knowledge and that history of people who've been there and done it before with our computational capability brings us a kind of different seat at the table when it comes to discussions with partners. So I thought it'd be interesting to just, talk about RNA drugs. And on the left-hand side is an example of the current mRNA vaccines, and on the right-hand side is a sort of schematic of our RNA platform. So essentially, all RNA drugs have 3 sort of bullet points which are the same. Number 1 is they always have a sort of delivery system. The delivery system carries a genetic sequence. And the kind of important last part is when the delivery system delivers the genetic sequence into a cell, the actual process, if you like, the drug-like effect, is carried out by the cell itself. So in the example of the mRNA vaccine, as many of you will know, the genetic sequence is the genetic sequence for the spike protein. The likes of Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna will put the genetic sequence, as you can see here, wrapped within what's called a lipid nanoparticle. Upon injection, the nanoparticle basically delivers the cargo or the genetic sequence into a cell. And at this point, the cell's machinery actually reads this genetic sequence, creates the spike protein, and it's the creation of that spike protein which alerts our immune systems to create antibodies and therefore immunity. In our example on the right-hand side, a kind of similar but distinct in one very important way. Our delivery system is on the right-hand side there, this kind of schematic or construct that you can see here. This will ensure that our genetic sequence will go to the liver. And as you can see here, this is our sort of template of our sort of genetic sequence. Our process is slightly different in that we are interested in target genes which are disease-causing in the liver, of which there are something in the region of sort of 10,000. And the first thing we do is we say, all right, this is a particular gene we're interested in. We find out what the genetic sequence for that gene is. We create our own genetic sequence against that gene. Again, delivery system will take it into liver cells and only liver cells. And what happens then is distinct to the vaccines. So in a vaccine, you're creating something. In our platform, what happens is you're shutting down the activity of the gene. So if you like, the kind of left-hand side, the mRNA vaccines or mRNA drugs, they turn genes on. Our platform specifically turns gene off in the liver. Okay, so what were the more other commercial rationales that we were, considering? Why did we do this? RNAi in the liver has got some unique drug-like properties. Probably, in my opinion, the most reproducible and validated drug platform that there is out there. And a big component of that is the long duration of action with one subcutaneous injection. So on the right-hand side, you'll see something. Day one here is a very kind of small subcutaneous injection. The target gene in the liver in question is called PCSK9. If we follow the purple line here, what happens is upon injection on day one, you can see the activity of that gene being repressed or shut down. But what's kind of remarkable about it is you can see that this repression or suppression of the activity continues for 180 days, actually goes out to around 240 days, all from one, very simple subcutaneous injection. So, what this platform has really become is it's gone further than just a potential rare disease platform. It has become a potential platform for very common diseases, primarily because of this kind of long activity from one injection. Okay, sorry, I can't move the slide forward. No, I can. Another important marker here was that, the platform has been validated with a very large database of efficacy and safety in man. But more importantly, there are now, over the last 2 or 3 years, there are now 4 approved RNAi drugs on the market. So, in terms of sort of risk and the optimal time to be in this area, this is the right time where a lot of the sort of heavy lifting and failures which can happen in these industries have been done, and a lot of experience and knowledge has been gained. Obviously, financials and financial deals are a very big component of what we do and a very important part of the kind of valuation metrics. You'll see here that in the RNA field, as opposed to, let's say, the small molecule field,
cracking.
Got a big job on? At TradePoint, we've got everything you need to make it smaller. Like loads of trade products under one roof at low prices all year round, plus exclusive discounts just for the trade. And our trade-only counter as well. They're open when you are, 7 days a week, early till late. Shop now at tradepoint.co.uk.
The workout app tracks all my workouts. It knows how many laps I've done, how many calories I've burned. It knows how far I've gone, even in open water.
Every road you've never traveled. Every dress you've never worn. Every breath you've never taken. Every beat you've never felt. Every welcome you've never known. Welcome to a journey. fresh in my mind. You and I, by the ocean side. Yeah, all of the good times, they're fresh in my mind, but not in yours. I wish I could take you back, make every moment last. If you felt what I felt, remembered completely, maybe then you'd see how happy you were with me. Fresh in my mind, you and I, by the ocean side. Yeah, all of the good times, they're fresh in my mind, but not in yours. I wish I could take you back, make every moment last. If you felt what I felt, remembered completely, maybe then you'd see how happy you were with me. How happy you were with me. Happy you were with me. All of the good times, they're fresh in my mind. You and I, by the ocean side.
for a handout. I'm just trying to be the man now. I'm just trying to get a couple million so you pussy niggas understand now. $1 million mind, $1 million grind, time to put it all to work now. I'm just trying to get $1 million house with $1 million board now. Deep dope when she go down. Pussy good, one more round. Red and blue Haitian flag on me and that shots out to them Zoe pounds. Got beef, need 100 rounds. 187, don't you make it sound. I came in the bed, not looking for friends. I came in the bed, just looking for ends. I came in the bed, just looking for ends.
Came in the bed, just looking for ends.
Sit back right now, and I'm looking like I need to take me a trip or something. Is that right? You know what I'm saying? I gotta get to the money, but you try to go though. You feel me? You already know what a nigga looking for. You feel me? Hey, Shawty, bring your ass over here. Mind your business, this do not concern you. You think you cooler than the Fanny chopper bullets burn you. I'm high as fuck, cause all I smoke is pressure. I just bought a Beretta, my girl a new sweater. I'm doing whatever, and plus you hating forever. I told her we can go shopping, baby, you buy whatever. Trap house booming, that means that we never sleeping. We got that Gucci, that product that had them dope bees beating. That had them dope bees beating.
That had them dope fiends beating.
Soon ride for the groupies, hits a ride for the Lucci. All my rhymes become movies. Time to climb out that hoopty. I've been trying so long, been surviving the calm. All that silence is gone. My alliance is strong. Never gonna beat my clique, my team is sick. Sweat and tears, we bleeded it. Let me teach a bit about leadership. Gotta face your fears and defeat it quick. I'm the chief of this, defeated it. You pray for our demise. I saw the bar and exceeded it. Never wasted any time. I came in the game, was aiming for fame. It was me, myself, and I. Never resolved to stop believing, and now you see I'm on the rise. When you stare at my reflection, look deep into my eyes. You know it ain't a question. My team is right behind. That's my clique. Soon ride for the groupies, hits a ride for the Lucci. All my rhymes become movies. Time to climb out that hoopty. I've been trying so long, been surviving the calm. All that silence is gone. My alliance is strong. Never gonna beat my clique, my team is sick. Sweat and tears, we bleeded it. Let me teach a bit about leadership. Gotta face your fears and defeat it quick. I'm the chief of this, defeated it. You pray for our demise. I saw the bar and exceeded it. Never wasted any time. I came in the game, I was aiming for fame. It was me, myself, and I. Never resolved to stop believing, and now you see I'm on the rise. When you stare at my reflection, look deep into my eyes. You know it ain't a question. My team is right behind. That's my clique. Yeah. it to really get that buzz. Cause I just like the music, so that is what I want. Let me bring you all to life, cause that's what I'm on. Like, get this going, do it now, even though I'm sober. Energy is crazy, yeah, I am taking over. I can really write these raps while chilling on the sofa. Cause I am a monster and I came to take it over. I'm a genius, man, I'm working so hard, so I don't really care what I say right now. I rise to the top. Oh, I rise to the top, you should know. Yeah, I ain't gonna give up, oh no. Cause I'm a monster, and you know. Yeah, I came to kill it, so here we go. Cause I've been slighting food, the best that ever do this life.